Today I'll be speaking about a situation regarding the Odg Squad. If you're unfamiliar to what the Odg Squad is, it is a channel I made with 5 other people after a music video I made called MasterOdg back in September the 29th, 2020 got my main channel up to 150 subscribers.
Today, I'll be dissecting the arguments between the sides of MasterOdg and realjamesh after a recent feud over Odg Squad participation. But to do this, I'm going to have to discuss both Oscar's arguments and James's defence in order to see who is in the right and who is in the wrong, along with giving my personal thoughts on the matter, and coming from a member of the Odg Squad, I think I have the right to do so. Before watching my video, however, I strongly recommend that you watch both Oscar's and James's videos before watching mine, as it will give more context behind each argument displayed in this video. With that out of the way, I'll be discussing skipping most of the intro, which gives context to the origin of the Odg Squad.
If you're unfamiliar to what the Odg Squad is, it is a channel I made with 5 other people after a music video I made called MasterOdg back in September the 29th.
MasterOdg gives his argument on how James does not usually meet meeting deadlines in the evening, which is very evident within the Odg Squad videos themselves. No reason to give evidence here. However, Oscar frames it as being, quote,
who has problems with this,
as if James has stated that meeting deadlines in the Odg Squad is a problem for his day-to-day life routine, which is merely speculation as no evidence is given, but is plausible. But James being able to meet deadlines is very different from James actually wanting to go to the meetings in the first place, an argument that got brushed under the table by Oscar. If I was James, in my opinion only, I would feel pressure to come to the evening meetings, as it has now practically become a running joke in the Odg Squad, along with me being called out as a furry, which I myself have a problem with.
Hello everyone, we're here for the judging for the Odg Squad Christmas Rap Challenge, and of course there's no surprises in that James can't join us. James couldn't make it for judging, so he decided Louis, who wasn't here earlier, is going to pretend to be James. We've got quite a few people who have designed the merch here today. A certain one just couldn't be bothered. Well, James, I mean, I heard a brief few seconds of this, and I already know it's going to be the worst one, but we may as well play it anyway.
James does not have a choice if he wants to come to the meetings, just like everyone else. And if he doesn't want to go, then he can simply skip the evening meetings. Oscar does not give context to this argument, however, mostly alluding to how James decides if he wants to come for his own personal gain. However, I do have to mention this is only speculation, as there is just as much evidence to support this theory as there is to James having a problem with the meeting deadlines. Honestly, there is so much that Oscar could be referring to here, so I'll just say in conclusion that what Oscar is saying is placing James so far as the fall guy, which I don't believe is fair. But honestly, this is going to be one of those grey areas that people can only speculate on, so I'll just leave it at that and get on to my next point.
James H hardly ever turns up to judging in any of these challenges, and never seems to put any effort into them either. He says he mainly spends time with his family and on video calls, but it's the same with everybody else. So why does James in particular have such a problem with this?
MasterOdg's second argument is that, and I quote, James never seems to put any effort into the challenges. But is this really so? In the original video, the thumbnail challenge, James had made some fairly decent thumbnails and had come second place.
Here we go, the final results for the thumbnail challenge. James H, hard man.
I am always supreme.
22 out of 30.
The song cover challenge, where James made a fairly okay cover, given how we couldn't yell the lyrics like in the original song. I think the only reason why this was voted lower was because Calum was biased on how he is a massive fan of Green Day. Once again, just speculation. In the Truth or Dare challenge, James, although coming last, still scored what Lewis gets on average. In the portrait challenge, I would consider James' drawing of Eli better than your portrait of me completely unbiased. One point I want to bring up against Oscar is how James, given how he is quote unquote spending time with family or doing homework, clearly has got better things to do than make participations that will only get mocked and shunned and scored low by the rest of us.
Well, James, I mean, I heard a brief few seconds of this, and I already know it's going to be the worst one, but we may as well play it anyway.
In James's mindset, it really feels like, what's the point? And I can definitely understand.
In fact, in the recent design challenge, which has forced me to make this video in the first place, he didn't even participate despite turning up to meeting. He said he had to catch up on schoolwork, which is what he should be doing during the week, like the rest of us.
Oscar mentioned how James needed to catch up on schoolwork, which is what he quote should have been doing in the week. But you don't know if James is simply being given more work than you think. Admittedly, I have work that I need to catch up on, and I have only received one homework assignment in 2 weeks. I've been doing online schooling. James may have received tons of homework assignments that you simply just don't know about. Corrected, this could be the catching up on schoolwork, but neither you or me can prove that right or wrong.
There is nothing to fear.
It starts to make you think whether James H really does have stuff to do at the weekend, or if he really just doesn't care about the Odg Squad.
I've said this once, and I'll say it again. James is not entitled to show up to the meetings or take part. He can do so with his own free will. To say that James does not care about the Odg Squad is like saying he does not care about his online identity, something that James frequently defends and writes about, and something that the Odg Squad is a part of.
In fact, there is a rumour that he is the reason for the hidden like/dislike ratio on all of our videos. For some context, YouTube automatically hid the ratio on all our videos after a supposed spam like or dislike on our first video, which were later removed when YouTube hid all the ratios before I could see if that had actually happened or not.
Now, this theory is where you are treading on thin ice. You were saying that James caused the like/dislike ratios to be hidden, despite you even saying that this might not be concrete yet. So you still spread this rumour without giving any evidence to support it yourself.
It is a rumour, and I never actually saw this thing happen.
The only reason you made this point was to send hate to James, which is exactly what happened. It honestly feels a little uncalled for when your intention to this video was to tell James to participate more in the Odg Squad channel. Despite this obviously being not true, I ultimately let James debunk it for himself. In conclusion, I think both sides are in the wrong. MasterOdg for overemphasizing points without giving any valid evidence, and James for this whole reason sparkling out entirely. The reason why I've made this video, however, is so that people don't immediately side with Oscar, as he does have a lot of flaws in his original video. Honestly, I think the quote from the beginning of this video explains it best. A way of relating to the world in which a person consistently overreacts to or greatly exaggerates the importance of beginning events, seen with Oscar. Typically, drama is used by people who are chronically bored or those who seek attention, both relating to Oscar and James. Oscar, as he seemingly drops this video out of nowhere, and James because of, well, you made me say it.
James, you attention seeker.
Thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to like this video as it really helps me keep motivated to make more content like this. My analytics have plummeted since I stopped making videos, so let's come back with a bang. Also, James, be a little more committed next time.
As far as I'm concerned, though, I am happy to keep him in the Odg Squad unless he leaves by his own accord, as he brings humour and nice edits to the Odg Squad, so hopefully he can start appearing more and make the decision to be more committed to the channel.